Hey guys, hi. Welcome to the webinar that is being presented on the internship opportunities and bridging the gaps on the industry. Now, to introduce myself, I am Sachin and I belong to the same institute. I graduated from my uh, electrical engineering degree in the year 2012. I belong to the 2012 batch. I mean the 2008 to 12 batch. So currently, I work with the Merck Group as an architect. So this talks much about me as in just in brief. So I'm the student of the college with the electrical and electronics engineering degree, and I work with the engineering team right now in the Merck Group. This is a pharmaceutical company that's been there for about 350 years in the IT world and the rest of the industries as well. So I live in Bangalore and work here just for the work. So, but I belong to Harvard. So that's where my place is. So the next part of it, let's quickly jump onto the main concepts. So the first thing is you need to know who are you before you start with anything, all right? So when you look at the bookish definition, it reads a lot more and it's more confusing as to who's an engineer. So that's a bookish definition that you can see, or basically if you Google up for who's an engineer, so that's what comes up. But if I have to say it in an easy and a layman term, I would say the third part of it. It's we can do anything. Don't mess with us. So that kind of an attitude, a person who has that kind of an attitude, right? So quoting a famous person over here, so he says that engineering is the closest thing to magic that exists in the world. So who did say that? It's Elon Musk, again the biggest the business tycoon of all the times, and he's the owner of Tesla company. So that's definitely what he means, and he has established at it as well. So the next part is something very interesting. Today's world, basically, the students are burdened with the understanding of their studies, the engineering, the kind of the syllabus that is being designed, the topics that are to be discussed. So there are a lot of things that keep on going through the mindset of a person, specifically students in these days, and the kind of environment that has been created right now by all these pandemic diseases. Definitely, it's a concern. So what do they do in case if they do not get results, or maybe they're not able to find a solution for some particular problem? Is they hit internet, they try searching for solutions. So one basic thing that shows up in the picture is YouTube. So anytime they need this kind of a help, or basically a solution, so they head on to the YouTube, have a look up on the solutions that are required. But does it stop there? No, because YouTube's algorithm is designed in such a way that it keeps suggesting different things, or maybe different solutions, or maybe different videos based on a person's interest. Now that keeps triggering people's mindset. So this is what happens. So it keeps on triggering like a chain, and you end up looking up something that yields money a lot, right? So that basically is directly proportional, I would say, for 98% of people, and the rest 2% are exception to the kind of thoughts and emotions that trigger in a mind. The most prominent one of them being doubts, depressions, uh, sadness, or could be fear, shame, anything. And frustration is one big thing that pops up when you hit the internet. So you see a lot of people, doing more better than you, and you think that, you don't stand anywhere. Definitely not the kind of thing that we need. So, okay, so we spoke about all this. So what was this about? So this thing was about the fight between the student life and the stress that they face on an everyday basis, right? If you agree with me, that's how it is going on right now. So there are online classes going on. There are all sorts of the online tuitions, online places where you try to find solutions. But this is exactly what the picture is at the moment. At least to the people whom I see, this is exactly how things are happening. So how do we proceed further is the next question, the next big question, I would say. So when it hits to a point that everything is being closed, we are definitely confused with what exactly is happening. How do we proceed with our career? Are we hitting the right direction? So there are definitely blocks, or what we call them as the mental blocks ahead, that hinder our growth on a personal level and a professional level. There's an old saying about an engineer who, basically what does he do and who is he or she. So it's saying that an engineer can do with $1 what any fool can do with two. So that's basically telling us about the cost cutting that any engineer can go ahead and you know provide us, and the kind of work that he does with intelligence. So definitely science, technology, and mathematics, the three different branches of any society, we are trained with it. We are the engineers, right? So we design solutions. So how do we proceed with the next few steps are these. So internships, I'll talk in the next few slides. The next thing, once you figure out something with it, is the jobs. So how do we do things? We'll need to prepare for the interviews. We are looking for high-paying jobs. We're looking for some metro cities. We're looking for certain technology. We need a job, full-time job. So there are a lot of things that come up. So alternate solutions could be freelancing as well, right? So freelancing is nothing but being your own master. So you have certain skill, you utilize it to earn money. So that's basic, or an easy way of understanding freelancing. Now meetup is something that I have seen in the metro cities, most of it where the IT crowd would be existing, I would say, because this is the section of people where a set of like-minded people gather in a, ceremony, or I would say a kind of place. They would have a day or so that has been scheduled, and they will go to a place where they can discuss a lot of things. It could be the new advancements in the technology, or a basic thing that could trigger a new solution, anything. So meetup is a place where like-minded people, they meet up and they see what best can be done for the benefit of each other. So some things that I practice, do your homework regularly. I mean, when I get to see anything, or basically I'm assigned with a task. So what you have to do is you have to start with your homework. So do some ground research on what exactly are you doing, or what's the task assigned to you. So if you're applying for a new company, then know what are their products, how long have they been working in the industry, what's their work-life balance showing about, what in their company interests you, or what kind of positions do they have, how's their salary compensation, or how is their salary being provided. And there would be certain comments being written by people, so you can go ahead and look at it and maybe do some ground research on it. So when you get to see what exactly is that, and you start practicing your expertise, never give up, because there will be a point definitely in the process that tries to break you, or it could be like I want to give up, I can't do this anymore. So don't do that. So it could be the code writing, communication skills, whatever that you possess. Do not give up, do not stop. You need to keep it practicing continuously. So where do you look up for the information? Definitely it's the internet. You can see a lot of data in the internet. So look up for the right data, and I think that should fix all the things. That's what at least I do. I don't give up on things, and I also look up for the options in the internet. So that's something that I do, and I think learning is a continuous process. So it's basically difficult, but not impossible, I would say, because from time to time there are different hurdles that would stick, and that would basically try to be a roadblock for you, but then how you dodge those roadblocks is definitely impressive. So if you start learning continuously, then definitely there would be no roadblocks ahead. So what next, as in how do we learn, is basically Google the right keyword. Google is one place, it's more like a home or a one-stop shop for everything that you want, right? So the first thing you need to do is to practice, 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 practice. So every time you try to Google up something, you'll find something new. See what it means, as in, are you finding the right kind of information that you need? Basically, is that going to help you, or is that still a process that you need to learn to Google the right word? So on. There are a lot more things that actually impact on how you Google things. So quoting Abraham Lincoln, it's again a very famous quote that when he was asked about how he would do a task of chopping a tree, so he says, I'll first sharpen the axe for 4 hours. It doesn't literally mean what he's saying, but he tends to say that skills are most important, and that's what we need to focus on. So first 4 hours, if I try and build up the skill that is required to chop down a tree or basically do a task, then the next 2 hours is a very easy task for me, right? So that's exactly what he tends to say. So these are some top online learning platforms. You can have the applications of these platforms as well. So these are available free of cost as well. I mean, there are courses in Coursera or edX that you can do for free. And Duolingo is again application that basically helps you to learn foreign languages. So I'll tell you the benefit of adding this one. Now, there is a company which is interested in German language, right? I mean, it's a German-based company, companies like Bosch or maybe even our company as well. So they do have profiles listed in Germany or maybe somewhere else where they have their native languages being spoken much more than English. Now, if you have this capability, there is a definite edge over anyone else in the world, right? So you stand out of the crowd, and then they would prefer you when you know the language. It's definitely free, starts from basics. You do not have to have any prerequisites. You do not have to complete anything before you start using the application. So you could download this app and start learning today. So that's definitely going to help you out in one or the other way. And then there is Pluralsight Programming Hub. These are free, of course, I mean, up to a certain level. But I would say, make use of it as much as there's a free content. So if there is an ultimate necessity of going for a paid information, you can go for it. But do not go ahead and pay unnecessarily. Udemy is one place where you get a lot of free content learning the code. So be it any technology, so you can go ahead and learn a lot of things over there. So LinkedIn is one platform that I would highly recommend for anyone, because LinkedIn is a place for professionals. It's for professionals by the professionals. So what happens in LinkedIn is people tend to share the day-to-day updates from the industry. So when they share updates from the industry, it definitely benefits you. And there are people whom you can connect with as well. So, the human resource professionals, the HR professionals, or maybe some senior resources from the industry, you can connect with them, interact with them, see what's happening. So tell them that you have designed such a solution for a problem, if there is anything that they could do, or maybe there are certain research problems in LinkedIn, or maybe some websites you could post them saying that this is the problem statement, this is what we're trying to do. So people would look at it definitely, and then they will suggest you certain things that you could learn again and again. So could be a continuous learning process again. So that is what I wanted to say with respect to LinkedIn. I'm much obsessed with LinkedIn, definitely on that one. So these are a set of the job profiles that are highly being paid. Again, it's a internet related screenshot, so I'm not too sure how much relevant that would be, but yes, to give you a brief idea on this one, that's how it is placed at the moment. So how about the second screenshot? If you ask me, that's industrial automation again. So you will get robotics everywhere in the world. So definitely there is a need for managing that. If you are equipped with that skills, definitely you'll get a perfect job or a desired job in that. So it's not just the robotics or a management of a robot that you need to do, but there is a design process as well. So definitely it's not limited to a particular stream. You can expand it to anywhere you like. So how about this one? This is very interesting. I mean, the cyber security, right? So what happens with cybersecurity? Your accounts get hacked. That's what we see on a large scale at times. So your bank accounts could be anything of that sort. So cybersecurity professionals are those who actually fight on these. So there are two kinds of people who work on cybersecurity. One is a black hat, and the other one is a white hat. So white hat people are those who are, certified professionals who fight against the attack. You are the people protecting the world against these bad guys, right? The black hat hackers. So the black hat people are basically those who extort money or maybe do the bad things, hack your account, steal the money. So be safe against that. So you could be a white hat hacker, prevent everything, or maybe there are companies like Google, Microsoft, Facebook who actually go ahead and pay people if they find out security vulnerabilities, or what I could say is security flaws in the system. So I've seen people, earning lakhs and crores on one particular small point out that, this is the flaw in your system. So definitely a good field for research. You could end up in being the forensic expert on this one. So there are a lot more things that you could do with security. Definitely a place to explore. Robotics again could be related to the design, could be related to machine learning, artificial intelligence, so many things. Again, the next generation technology. So you can definitely get into it, try and understand, what are being done. So a medical industry, or I would say the field of medical science is using robots to a larger extent these days. So learning robotics can definitely help you to get into any of these. And as I quoted earlier, we can do anything related to this. So if you train your robot to do certain things or to diagnose certain things that are, basically telling you what exactly could be or how exactly could be a frequent earthquake in your area, or could be a disease like dengue or a malaria. So those are all related to data science again. So you pick up on the data that is present in the internet. You analyze things. You write a code across that will, predict things for you. So as and when you practice, you get hold of these things, right? So I would say this is a pretty good area to explore. Give it a thought and see if you can connect with people over LinkedIn, or maybe there are a lot more people in the world who are called as influencers. Uh, these people are from the industry who do a regular research on things. You get a lot more information on the internet. So stay connected. So definitely, I mean, a great artist, Leonardo da Vinci quotes that learning never exhausts the mind. When you learn new things, you definitely tend to think, okay, I did it. I did write a code for like 300 lines. This could have been written in like 100 or maybe 75 or 50. So that's a new learning for you, and definitely you'll go ahead and tend to try it. It's never exhausting. Trust me, it is never. And I have seen people in my organization, I mean, people who are about to retire, like 55, 60 years old, they tend to see, what are the new technologies coming in, and they want to learn them as well. So it's very interesting. So once you start learning, it never exhausts you. So this one is a very famous dialogue from the movie, but yes, whenever struggle tries to, take you back or hold you onto that place, where you don't want to do things and you want to give up, say this to it. That will definitely give you the motivation that's needed for continuing your work. All right. So go through it. Tell it that, boss, you can't do anything to me. I'm a very strong person. I know how to fight you. So definitely that will help you out. So if there is a plan A with you and you try out very hard for it and then you fail again, don't worry about it. There are 25 different alphabets in the English language. You can have n number of plans again over there. Stay cool. That's very, very important for life. And then when you feel like giving up, think about this. Why did you hold on to this particular place for so long? Why did you hold on to 16 years of your education if you wanted to give up, right? So 16 years of your education is already done. Now, why do you want to give up and, go back to certain things that you did not want to do? And something that matters is how you see yourself. If you see that you're a loser, you're always a loser. You don't tend to struggle. If you see that you want to be a winner, like how the cat does it. It looks into the mirror and it thinks that it's a lion. It would go ahead and fight anything. So definitely motivating yourself is one big task that anyone has to do for a greater success. One thing we all need to say to ourselves is we can do it. No matter how hard is the problem, it should always be faced. Because there is, as long as you keep running from your problems, definitely they will follow you for wherever you go. So face them for once and see how happiness would follow you. So how much do we resemble? Now, I was talking about all these things, how to get motivated, what are the things that you need to do. So how do we resemble each other? So I used to sit on the same benches, read the same topics that you guys used to read. And now I'm an 8-year professional. So looking back at all these tracks, the years that I have spent in the industry and the time that I was there in the college reading the same subjects that you guys are going through could be a bit different from the other branches of engineering, but definitely the electrical engineering. Now, this is what happens to all of us all the time. Now, you guys tend to get frustrated when it comes to the problem solving, or it could be reading the concepts. But for me, when I get into a meeting, this is the exact same expression that I have. So people tend to say, do this, do that, 100 things at one time. So definitely this thing comes up in my mind. Why? Why should I do this? But then, yes, have a break, go for a break, have a cup of coffee, tea, or something, come back, hold on to the task, try to break it down. There is a strategy in basically a computer science stream, but I would say it's applicable everywhere in politics as well. So the, the thing or the theory that's constituting that is called as divide and conquer. So basically you have a big problem or a big task that needs to be done, divide it into the smallest chunks as much as possible. All right, you break it down into the smallest chunk possible, start accomplishing one by one. Definitely it would take time, but once you get hold of it, definitely that will help you out. So we never give up, and we don't want you guys to do. I mean, we don't want you guys to give up. So that statement says what we are looking in you when we go ahead for recruiting, right? So it's in terms of commitment and accomplishments, we want you guys to take over us. And we want you guys to show much more positive attitude towards accomplishing things. So what happens, what's the difference between us and you? At the moment, after getting into the industry for so long, the only difference that I see is an appreciation. Appreciation is something that keeps you going for a very long time. So a customer going ahead and appreciating you, definitely there are perks in the industry that give you this option. So what happens is every single time that you get an appreciation, you tend to work more. You will think that okay, the next thing that I do will be much more impressive, and I'll get a better appreciation from the customer. And not just that, we do have goals as well. I mean, our bosses go ahead and provide us goals, but you have to get so many appreciations in a year. So definitely, you have to keep yourself motivated. And I think this is needed for you guys as well. I'll tell you why I put this one over here. Now, we do goof ups as well. So we are human beings too. Doesn't mean we are professionals. We are perfect with everything. So we do mistakes as well. That's the goof up. But remember that we all started with where you are. Right now, we are in a state that we have experience in the industry, but we all started with where you guys are right now. And we did age with our skills. I mean, as the time progressed, we did acquire a lot of skills. Now we are here to assess people as well. As in, there are certain times when we get to assess more of the students, or maybe the experienced professionals, to be frank, and then provide them the right set of opportunities. We do fail in interviews as well when we go for a different company. I mean, it's about money end of the day for all of us. So we are not happy with the compensation that's being provided. We tend to move to a different organization. So when we go there and try and give interviews, we definitely fail as well. But failures are again the stepping stone, right? So we go ahead and try to see an insight, or why did, I mean, we do an analysis, why did we fail over there? Was the job description not right for us? Was I not a suitable candidate? Did I not have the skills to go there? Or what exactly went wrong? So that's basically, how we work as a professional. So looking at our offices, this is how it works. I mean, it's not ordered, but yes, this is something that how it looks. And just instead of the people inside over there, it's all us. So this is another kind of setup. I mean, we sit right side by side. So whenever we need something, we reach out to our colleagues, try to understand, how things are happening. So we do see the client first banner over there. That means a customer who is giving you the task, he is our God, right? So no matter what happens, you keep trying. You try to establish that particular goal. Try to make your customer happy. That's basically you being a customer. Give yourself a goal of studying and accomplishing those skills that you need to get the right job, right? So in a similar method, this is how we work with. There are a lot more things, but then you'll start getting to those when you join for a particular position in the organization. So what next? If I have spoken about all these things, what next would be the question. So I mean, if I don't get a job, what next? So the answer is very simple. The war is not over, my friend, until you give up and you die. So we always keep fighting. Even the experienced folks. I mean, these days you've heard about recession. There is slowdown in the industry. There are so many people being removed from the organization. That's all a part of our life. But whom will they remove is the question. Not the people who are skilled enough, not the people who are performing, definitely the bottom part of the performance letter that we get. So until everything goes down, you are not going to lose it, right? So the war is not over. Don't put down your weapons. You try to fight until you lose the battle completely. So that's called a struggle for existence. Now, what as a student can you do is apply for an internship as well. So there are internships for a month, 6 months, 3 months, depending on the position in the organization and depending on the time or the kind of work they have. So apply for these. Definitely, there are tons of companies that I know. One is my internal organization itself. The other one is Cerner India that I remember. That's CERNER. I think there was HP India also that was applying for internships. So definitely you can go through those portals. Look up for industrial internships as well. So I'll be showing you all those when you look up for the kind of, I mean, where do you look up or how do you look up for an internship on internet? So just don't apply for these. I mean, when you qualify or when you give an interview, try to understand, what was the requirement of this. Now, when I say what was the requirement, I will say what exactly was the company looking for. So the company is looking for a professional who has got experience, or maybe is just a new starter in the field, and they want to gain experience in a technology like SAP, or it could be security, it could be hacking, it could be anything. So they'll come up with a particular job role. Look into it. First, do your homework. Go there. Try to connect with people. So once you get hold of things and you are selected for the internship, try to build relationships with the people. And when I say relationships, it's professional relationship. So try to connect with them, see how they work, ask them hundreds of questions. It's okay, they would get irritated. So being in that professional place, definitely they will get irritated. But yes, end of the day, it's their job to go and help you out. But yes, for them to help you out, you have to step ahead first. So if you show them like, I have done these things, so how could these be improved? Yes, definitely they are happy to help you out. But if you go to them around saying, boss, I need help on all these things, they would certainly get irritated, as in thinking about uh, why would he be here if I have to do all the job. So first do your homework, try to get a solution as much as possible, and then reach out to one of those people. They'll definitely help you out. and doing that will definitely get you a good connection with them. And when there is a job opening, or maybe they want to convert the internships into a permanent job role, they would definitely go ahead and recommend you over there, right? So, but have skills. I mean, once you get to the internship, learn from the internship. That's what I tend to say over there. So LinkedIn is a great platform that can connect you to all the professionals in the industries. I mean, basically the manufacturing industry, could be the IT industry, anywhere. So there are human resource professionals. There are top heads of the organization. There are research engineers. So many of them. So connect with them when they post certain things. Read and maybe come up with a question that might help you understand the technology as well. Or could be, you could go ahead and suggest certain things which you are good at, and then they would come back to you asking, how would you do this? So when they ask that question, try to show up with your skills. Maybe give them a solution, and then tell them that if you have an opportunity, just let me know. So that might work as well. Perfect. So once we are done with all this, so what did we all learn from this? Never give up hope under any circumstances. It could be that, if you see around the industries that we are in right now, it's got more to do with the age factor, right? So you say that we are getting old, so we don't want to do things, but no, that's not the fact. You've seen people succeeding at the age of 40, 45, etc. So you never give up hope. So you keep trying. That's definitely going to help you out. Put social media to good use. LinkedIn is one professional platform. You have Facebook as well. I mean, you stay connected with people. Maybe comment on people's status. There are a lot more, technology related groups that you can join in, and they'll be posting certain things. You can go ahead and join them as well for education. WhatsApp is a great platform to collaborate with people. Have a video call once in a while with maybe your seniors. Stay in touch with them. But definitely that will help you out. They'll remember you when there is certain job opening that comes up, and they'll definitely reach out to you first. So internships are stepping stone, but they can build some solid foundation. Yes, as I said earlier, when you get into an internship, it's not just a job for you, or it's not just a place where you spend some time in the organization. So what do you learn from it is basically how that particular technology is impacting our lives, and how can you make a career into it, right? So they can build some solid foundation for you guys. So it's not just IT, or you know it's not just India that has jobs, right? So you have industries across the world. If you don't find a job here, maybe apply across, or maybe apply overseas. You could get a job right now. They'll allow you to work remotely because of the conditions around. Definitely they'll say yes if you're worth of their skills, right? So try and apply things as we could say overseas as well. So connect with people outside your circle, so that you can see where you stand when it comes to talent. So when you start communicating with people, you could see some really great speakers. Who can address the scenarios, or who are well versed with speaking, or it could be the technical skills as well. When I talk about technical skills, they could be better at coding. They could be better at suggesting ideas. They could be brilliant at designing things. So when you connect with those kind of people, you don't have to lose anything. You'll still go ahead and gain some understanding, some knowledge on unexplored areas. So definitely, I think you should connect with people outside your circle as well. So with practice and age comes wisdom. That means, when you start practicing things, it's not very immediate that you'll acquire that skill. So you will go through the time that will basically, you will have an understanding as to how things work, and you will become an expert. So when you become an expert, you stand out from the crowd. When there is an opportunity, you definitely have an edge over others. So all of that being said, these are certain technologies in the IT industry, or I would say these are certain programming languages in the IT industry that have an edge over everything else. So if you hold a skill set in Python, then there is a likely chance that you'll be hired when it comes to other people. when you hold a certain set of skill set in JavaScript or maybe any of those mentioned technologies over there, you definitely will have an edge. But I would say, equip with one of these, irrespective of what industry you're working with, because you never know when opportunities can hit you, right? So get ready, try to have one of these, and I think that should help you out in securing a position for yourself. So freelancing, as I was talking, there are top five of them listed above, right? So those are very handy enough for a freelancer. Okay, so let me talk a small bit about freelancing. So freelancing is basically where you sell your services to the people across the globe and charge them for what you do. So there is a small job that I want you to go ahead and prepare a presentation. PowerPoint is one such wonderful tool. But yes, is PowerPoint the only tool? No, there is another set of tools. And I would say, there is one website called as Powtoon. That's Powtoon. So that creates animations. So when you go into that particular website and try to create the animations, so that definitely gives you an edge over others, right? So you sell that service when you are equipped with it. So you charge them for like $10 an hour, or basically $500 an hour. So that's definitely worth it. So you are your own boss. You can work at your own leisure, right? So freelancing is certainly preferable one, but I would say, keep it as an option. So these are a few languages, or these are certain things that people in the industry are working on. So I'm sure this would look scary, but definitely nothing to worry about. I'm talking acquire one of these, not all of these. So you could get into a Python coding, a Perl coding, or maybe Angular, Windows platforms, Android, iOS, scripting, and then it could be artificial intelligence, doing a WordPress, Bootstrap, anything for that matter. So have at least one of these so that people will look at you when you get into the interview with the ocean full of people, right? So if that hits your mind, try to see if there are resources in Udemy or LinkedIn that can provide you some basic understanding. And definitely there are a lot more courses that could definitely help you out. So last thing I wanted to talk, I mean, the interesting part of this whole webinar was how do internships work? So if I'm talking about how do internships work, now there are a few different ways that you can actually approach the internships, like the regular jobs, right? So how do we do it? So internships are basically available on internet, in LinkedIn, and on a few different sites as well. So if you go into the company websites, you have a contact us section on the websites. So you can go to that particular place, drop in your query, maybe they'll get back to you. So that's one way of doing it. The other way is to basically search on the internet as to what you're exactly looking for. So once you get apply it over there and follow up with the process. When I say follow up with the process, when you apply for basically an internship with maybe HP, try to see if there is someone in HP if they can help you out, or maybe they can push it to the HR saying that internship for this particular guy is required. So if they can have a word with the HR and they can actually put some weightage on to your request as well. So internships definitely provide an amazing platform for students who can gain skills in industries, and then they can enhance their knowledge as well, and they can work for the benefit of organization as well. So there are two different types again within internships. You have paid internships and unpaid internships. I would say, look up for something that gives you paid internships, because that's when you start to earn as well. So earn while you learn, right? Or learn while you earn, both the things. So how does freelancing work? I did speak about freelancing in the last slide. So basically, it's selling your services. I mean, something that you're good at, don't do it for free. That's what I would say. If you're good at speaking, basically, try and see if there is certain marketing jobs that you can get, or maybe there is certain things that you would like to advertise, but that should involve money. So freelancing is a space where you are your own boss. Again, you work for money again, right? So how do recruitments work? So this is campus recruitments and off-campus recruitments. So I did get a couple of questions on the chat asking how about the challenges in the off-campus? How do we prepare for the virtual interviews? So there is nothing like, that's not possible. So off-campus recruitments are definitely open to a larger crowd, but campus recruitments are finite to a college, right? So campus recruitments have a greater edge, but then if you don't succeed, don't worry on it. You have a better edge because you are open to the companies that are looking for you. So I would say if you get rejected in a campus recruitment, don't be disheartened because it's not a rejection, it's a redirection, right? So there is a huge difference in saying I'm rejected and I'm redirected. It's not rejection, it's a redirection that happens to you. Could be that something else, something very much better is waiting for you in a different company. So give it a thought, why did you fail in that particular recruitment process? Off campus, the challenges that I see is, basically the communication skills on a larger scale. So try to practice things on a daily basis. I'm sure that you guys would be watching English movies. That's just not sufficient. So what do? Is basically go ahead, start speaking to people. Doesn't mean that you have to communicate with everyone in English, but then, as much as possible. It could be that when you learn a foreign language, try to speak to people in the same. I mean, the like-minded people, or maybe someone who is into the same region. So basically, that could help you out as well. So the off-campus recruitment has this one challenge of communication. It could be the skills as well. So when it's open to an ocean full of people, now there are people who definitely stand out of the crowd. Again, the standout company also has a very huge competition. So how you polish your skills, how you sharpen your skills is all left to you. So off-campus recruitments also involve, one specific question. I'm from the non-IT background. How can I crack interviews for a IT position or basically a information technology position? So definitely, I did tell you in the previous slides about using the applications, using the websites to your best to learn coding, or basically search through the internet. There are definitely websites that can help you out to learn coding right from the scratch. Do not need any prerequisites, so you can definitely go through them. There is a lot of free content available, so you can go and enroll for it, get benefits as much as possible, and then start trying the real world problems. So if you look up, there is techgeek.com that offers basically hackathons, and there are problem statements that are basically going ahead and telling you this is the problem statement, so how would you do this? So write a code on it, see if that works. So when you have learned the basic, try to implement it. Maybe there is a different solution for it, right? So try and see how you can do it. Form a team, maybe that can help you out. So that's how you start with being from a non-IT or a non-coding background and get into coding as well. So software industry is not just limited to coding. It's got technical support. It's got marketing. It's got a digital field as well. So there are a lot more better things in IT industry. Definitely. I mean, speaking about the IT industry, it's not just enough for one day that we can go ahead and speak about it. It's a vast ocean of opportunities. Having said that, manufacturing industry is definitely one more ocean of opportunity for all those people who desire it, right? So if you are very much interested in getting into the core industry, there is a lot more things that need to be, there are a lot more things that need to be looked up upon, and how you acquire skills with it. So it's not just, you acquire skills, you have to collaborate with people who are already there in the industry and ask them, how things work. It could be, just a cold rolling mill. It could be the hot steel manufacturing plant. Could be anything. So when you get in touch with certain people, they would tell you what technologies they use, how things work. So who are the people that are getting involved with it? So how did they get recruited? You can get in touch with them. They'll definitely help you out. Campus recruitments are pretty straightforward and they can be cracked, but it again depends on your skills as well. So having said that, what happens when it's a rejection? So being an 8-year-old professional in the industry, when I go for interviews, I still get nervous. That's definitely okay. But why is the question. So the fear of being rejected, it's one brave thing that we all need to come up with. As in, we all need to get over things like, why are we being nervous? We know things, but we are hesitant enough to say that out aloud. So when I went to a lot of interviews, what I found out is people are specifically looking for the right set of attitudes within people. So it's not just that, we need to focus on skills, but we need to have the right attitude as well. So once we have the right attitude, technology can be taught anywhere else in the world. We do have definitely trainings designed for the graduate engineers who just join us. So it's not that technology is non teachable. Definitely not a hard work for us. So have the right attitude, that should work for all of you guys, right? So that's the end of the slides, but I would like to show you something else also over here. So how does internship mails look like? So this is exactly what happened to us in January. I mean, we could see there was an internship available for a SAP stream. They had all these requirements based on what they selected people, and I did see that 30 of them uh, got in for a full-time position. So this is what they did, and they paid a stipend of 15,000 for a 6 month to 1 year probation period for them. And this was a fixed hour for them. Do not worry about this because it's not permanent for everything. So it could be varying about with the requirements. So definitely something that can be looked up with. So if you want to see look into this with a greater detail, pause the video, see what you want with this information, right? So I was also talking about the internships. So what exactly did I Google for? In the first place, I went ahead and asked Google in the industrial internships, right? Give me this whole lot of information. So specifically, when people are searching, they would search for industrial internship for mechanical engineering students. So when you look up, Google is your best friend, right? It gives you the suggestions. So I went ahead and clicked on internships over here, and it just gave me these suggestions first. So these are right next to me. I mean, the place where I am. But look over this over here. Over 1 month, 28 days, 27 days. What does this mean? I mean, these were actually posted for looking for people in this pandemic as well, right? So there are 91 more of them. You could go through and Google, see what's happening. So Bosch is one reputed company that offers internships. If you can see here, right? Go ahead and register. Definitely it will help you out. So when I clicked on to the first link, it took me to a LinkedIn page where it definitely gave me an edge saying that it's a robotic system company. Now what I will do is I will go through the job description over here, basically the day-to-day responsibilities that are being shown for a graduate, right? So it could start anywhere between 1st July and 5th August. So the date is already over. I mean, you can start applying for things like this. So maybe you can try out with this one because it's still July. So 1st of July and 5th of August. So you can go ahead and apply for this. And what I would suggest is once you apply somewhere, follow that company for an update because you never know when they could post the second one, right? So go ahead, see what they are into because the industry that they are into is electrical and electronic manufacturing, design, mechanical or industrial engineering. Definitely a post that's open for the core candidates, right? Somebody who wants to pursue their career into robotics. So you don't have to have any prior experience when you see the description over here, and you can get a internship for a duration of 6 months. I think 6 months is more than sufficient to find anything outside when you get out of this one. So definitely this is something that I got through. So there are more like that. So you can browse through LinkedIn. LinkedIn definitely has this feature. So you can look up for the jobs and that will definitely help you out. So when I went to the second part, it still says, it's an industrial design internship, right? So what does it exactly mean or what they are into? If I see the responsibilities, This is more of a 3D modeling work. So definitely RFQ is nothing but a request for quote. So when it says request for quote, customer will give you a requirement and you have to create a new concept or an idea about with a 3D model. So how challenging that job can be, right? So you could start the internship between 9 June and 14 July. So definitely I think there is a time frame for this one and it's available for 6 months. So the duration again differs. If you want to look up for certain thing that's in a month or so, I think there would you will have to do a little bit of research, but I would say look up for this position over here. It says stipend. Stipend is basically the pay that the company will be offering you, right? So the deadline was today. So you can ignore this one. Try and see if there is something that's available for you again. But what are the other perks that you'll get? A certificate of completion of that particular internship, a letter of recommendation from the company. I mean, the next place where you go is definitely weighing for you. So letter of recommendation is definitely a healthy weightage on your resume. So flexible work hours. So if you don't want to work in the 9 to 6, yes, they'll have another shift for you, so you can work over that. So what are the skills that you'll acquire? You have to look at that one as well. So Adobe Photoshop, it could be something that you would like. Illustrator, SolidWorks. So certain things relating to certain jobs, you need to look up for that information when you're looking for internships, right? So if I look up for a freelancing thing, I did Google it for freelancing websites. Now there are different websites available for selling your services. So what are those? If I look at this, it says Fiverr is one, Upwork, Top Total. If you log in and sign up to these things, you'll see how people are selling their services. So you can give up a competitive quote on the portal saying I would offer the same services for this particular range of amount. Definitely people will be happy with it. So if you are uh, given with or assigned with a task from someone, you can go ahead and definitely help them with uh, the task that they want, and they'll pay you out with that. It's a healthy role again, but make sure that you have sufficient skills to do it, because it's a deadline related job. So when they give you the job, they will definitely ask you a question as to what's happening all the while. So definitely, I mean, give it a shot and see how things work. So that's more about everything that I wanted to say. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it to the placement officer. I think you already have connected with him, and he'll come back to me. Or if you have already followed me on LinkedIn, or if you want to follow me on LinkedIn, my profile would be here. Uh, my profile shows up something like this, right? So you can always follow me. So you can ask me questions as well, and I would be happy to answer. And having said that, thank you for giving me this opportunity to share the data with you, and maybe share everything that I knew as a perspective from my end. If you have certain things that I could rectify, or maybe give you a better idea about, just let me know. We could have a one-on-one chat as well. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your time.